Howdy, wild cards and space cowboys and girls and in betweens and everything else. We have another
Cowpokes, I
cowpokes.
believe,
That's a
is
good
the
one.
ungendered
That's right.
version.
See you, space cowpokes. Sorry, Cowboy Bebop, you got it wrong. See you, Cowboy. But anyways, Mom Oblivion. It's awesome. It is funded. It is successful. Congratulations, Darrell, on
Yay!
another good one.
Yay!
The So since you are the man of the hour, let's start with you, buddy. The For folks who have not got on the Deadlands Lost Colony train yet, give us a little backstory on what is Deadlands Lost Colony and where does it fit in the whole Deadlands milieu.
Oh, you're talking to me? I thought you were talking to Donald. Like he's the guy that put all the page together and got this working. So man of the hour is right there. I just wrote some
That's
stuff.
true. The website did not crash. Thank you, Donald. The page looks gorgeous.
Yeah, so the setup for Deadlands Lost Colony, Maw of Oblivion is in the box set that came out. The first part of the campaign is we are on the hunt for the Reckoners. You know, they've come over to the Lost Colony. They're cut off from their bases of power. They're weakened. And we've kind of got this one shot to get them before they regain their strength. And so in the first one, it's all about war. And one way or another, he goes down. And so in Maw of Oblivion, we're going after famine. And famine, rather than hanging out on Banshee, the living world, goes out into the space, the regions around Banshee, which is filled with asteroids, the belt, you know, and there's all sorts of stuff going on out there. The United Nations has fled out there too after their, X4 is the expeditionary force, right? Their leftovers are out in the belt too, and they're kind of gathering their power because they never knew when to quit and they just won't ever quit. So that's one faction that you have to deal with. And then you've got all the people, like there's more people living in the belt than on Banshee because as horrible as the belt is, Banshee's worse for your chances of survival. So like it's the particular breed will go to Banshee, and raise food and find water and things like that to then ship out to the belt. And of course, during the adventure, that has broken down. We've all experienced shipping chain problems. And when the shipping chain includes your food, water, and air, that's a big deal. And then the nice thing about famine is she makes all of that infinitely worse. So the clock's ticking, and the posse need to go find her and get rid of her before everybody dies.
Yeah, famine is a particularly good match for space when you think about it, right? But it's like everything is hostile to you. You have to bring all your food. It's very hard to grow anything in space, right? Although apparently space smells like strawberry tequila or something like that. There's like or raspberries. There's like fake raspberries. So anyway, someone figured out like there's a huge cloud of hydrocarbons and it's the same makeup as or there's a high enough percentage of whatever the artificial raspberry flavor is. So
I believe it, right? Like there's enough particles out there to transmit sound, so
right,
I was
they
telling
can hear you scream in space.
Okay, we're gonna get to that. So yeah, folks, we actually did figure like if there was a Mob Oblivion, what would it sound like? And science has given us an answer on this. So I'm uploading a video right now, and we'll play it momentarily. It'll be a nice little surprise, but it sounds horrifying. It's that'll be a little right. Yeah, space has a smell, Jody. It does, just like gamers.
And thank you, NASA, for very specifically recording that sound just for our promo and for no other reason whatsoever.
Right. I mean,
Science, gaming,
right? PEG's growing, but our budgets are not growing that big to get NASA to go and do an entire mission to record black holes just because. But we'll pretend they do. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds good for promo, right? Like the game that you can hear you scream in space, and we paid for NASA to get that. That sounds cool.
NASA's billing us as we speak. Way to go,
no.
man.
Oh no, yeah. Well, they're publicly funded, right? We'll get grants. Oh, if we got government grants to make games, that'd be amazing. There's so much graft in that. That'd be great. Speaking of amazing games, sir, totally divagation, but this is a Mr. Barbeau. Yeah. Highly, like people want to know because we teased it. I teased it, sadly, many weeks ago, that there's awesome news that came out of Gen Con. And then people went wild with what it was. And so give us a little hint, sir, on kind of what magic new door opened up because people at Paizo brought you into their inner fold and decided that Michael was amazing.
Okay, yeah. I am mostly here for Maw of Oblivion, but I will do a quick spiel on this. Um, so first of all, if you have never met the folks at Paizo, they are all fantastic people, really cool to talk with. But coming up in the future, we are going to be doing some one sheet unique adventures, like brand new, focusing on different aspects of the class edges. So maybe a one sheet where you're dealing with swashbucklers and it's focusing on gunslingers, or where you're rooting out heretics in a local church where the Inquisitor can kind of shine. But we got the okay to do these one sheets, sorry, which I think is fantastic because it really shines in how Savage Worlds can throw something really quick together and do an awesome adventure. And now we get to do it on Galarian. And
That's super amazing. So for folks who aren't in the industry, that's really big news, right? Because for a lot of IPs, especially folks who are, I mean, they're another gaming company, right? So yeah, it's different than oh, hey, we got the license for Flash Gordon and we can make Flash Gordon adventures. The ability to create adventures which become canon in a world is a big deal. That's a lot of trust there. So that's really amazing. That's really great news coming out of Gen Con from Paizo. So thank you, Paizo. But yeah, thanks, Mike, for they're like, oh wow, Mike, we really like what you do. So we were really impressed.
And that puts us 2 for 2 on our combined IPs, right? With Mike and Paizo, and with Sean Robertson and Rifts.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, and
way to go, us!
Right, we're so cool. Yes.
So, Mike, when are you going to become the creative director at Paizo? Because Palladium, right?
Wow.
Are they going to leave you the company? Is that how that works?
give me a month, at least 1 month. No.
Where do you see yourself in 2 years, Mike?
No, I love Galarian. I love this. Thank you, Jody. I love the setting, and so I think we all want what I want, which is I'd love to see more custom Pathfinder things going on, and so I'm really hoping that we can, knock these out of the park. We can make really awesome one sheets for people to play, and gain more and more trust with Paizo to play in their sandbox and be even more creative.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And to answer Starlaw's question, so Starfinder is not on the docket. We've got a whole.
We've got Lost Colony for that.
Right?
So in a smooth transition, I would like to say I spoke with Darrell, and I think we need. I don't know if you folks have ever seen the epic rap battles, but I think we need to do an epic Swade battle. And just to give a hint of how nasty Famine is, I proposed Famine versus the Tarrasque, because I think that would be a pretty brutal brawl. Famine is.
My favorite reaction is I'm sharing the stats with Mike, and he goes, "So the crew is legendary when they fight her, right?" And I'm like, "It could be."
If you take a real long time and it really.
Well, I mean, you definitely start the campaign as veteran, and there are opportunities, right, to if you do Savage Tales and things like that, you can definitely reach legendary, and it's probably a good idea too, but. We're Savage Worlds, right? We're not going to hold your hand. Go for it. Try it.
In space, no one holds your hand. So talk about that a little bit, Darrell. This is the crazy thing about Lost Colony is that even in Deadlands proper, the great take you a year to run them plot point campaigns that deal with the Reckoners.
Right.
But you really don't get to stab him in the face and kill him and make it the
Yeah.
IP was a little protective there at the end. I mean, you get to deal with their powers, but you're going up against the Reckoners from Deadlands.
Yeah.
This is where it ends. This is where Deadlands goes. I mean, yeah.
Right. And the idea is in Deadlands, the Reckoners are still in the hunting grounds. They're exerting their influence on Earth, and they're trying to make Earth into a Deadland so that they can physically come out. So you're dealing with their servitors, who are awfully tough too, right? And yet, when they win, if they win, they're here. They're on Earth, and Earth as itself is a Deadland, and it's pretty much toast, right? That's that tale is told in Deadlands Hell on Earth. Um, and so, but you've got these awesomely powerful creatures maxed out, just striding around like they own the place, because they basically do. And one of the former servitors, Hellstrom, manages this scheme to temporarily capture them, transport them to faraway system. He thinks that Banshee, because she's this kind of force for good, that her powers will be enough to destroy them. And it's not. It's enough to weaken them. And they need Deadlands to recover. So they're kind of left without a power base at first, right? And then, so there's a time limit on this, because they can make Deadlands. And in fact, there are Deadlands on Banshee, the Black Cities, which are remnants of an ancient enemy that Banshee fought long ago. And one of those Black Cities is in orbit in the asteroid field, and that's Famine's base. So she's recharging pretty fast.
So yeah, so I mean that's kind of the thing, right? So in Deadlands, I mean, like these Reckoners are like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Spoiler, guys, if you haven't,
they are the 4 horsemen of the
tuned
apocalypse.
in the last 25 years. Sorry,
yeah, they are literally the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Yeah.
So I mean, and narratively, it's kind of like the big horror thing is like you know, it's kind of like Cthulhu, right? Like you never let players kill Cthulhu, right? It's just it's got to be this bigger than badder than can't touch a thing. But I mean, you know, to give some resolution in some thing, the Banshee actually has this ability to weaken the Reckoner. So they're not the same strength as they would be on Earth, but they're not kitties either. So
No.
Yeah.
Now, Darrell, so because I never actually played through the original one, do you know about how long this is compared with the WNO?
WNO and this are both 6 chapters plus Savage Tales. And so each one could take 1 evening, could take 2 evenings. So we're talking probably 3-4 months of playtime in total if you're doing Savage Tales. And also some of the Savage Tales from Lost Colony will apply, as well as Widowmaker, as well as Billion Miles from Home, which is why we threw that file in on these levels, because if you missed the original Kickstarter version, there wasn't really a lot of ways to get it. So we're like, oh, let's get that out there. And because it happens in deep space, it's thematically fits. It's like, oh, this is a good place to get it out.
I'm pro starting campaigns with more edges, because it's always fun to be a little bit silly. But I feel like you get a lot more if you start at novice and go through the demon you know first.
Yeah. Well, and there's also there's
demon
tie-ins.
You know, it's a good thing for an adventure, right? Like let's write that one down. We'll put it in Shane's.
That's the name of the plot point campaign.
Yeah,
we already used it.
We already used it, man.
Right. Synergy, guys, really
right.
Awesome,
yeah.
Amazing, good job, Toast. Cheers.
There's us. There's Landauer. Just if you had any doubts.
That's true.
Running, trying to catch up to the bus, getting left behind. He's not going to make it to school.
Well, right, and that one's
not to hide my baldness. It's to try to catch a few things that usually go over my head. It's like I lean back a little bit, and the brain will catch some stuff. And
I mean, and that one's Shane Hensley and John Goff. So, I mean, clearly they know what they're doing, right? Yeah. And we're just kind of like picking up the breadcrumbs that they left behind and finding things.
That said, though, I think that Darrell does a great job in the beginning of the book, bringing you up to speed very quickly so that you don't have to go back and like read everything before. You can jump right in if you want to, right? And I think it's a great job of like a few pages where it just describes what has happened already so that you can join in.
Especially if you've missed pieces of it. It's like, oh, there's information you could have picked up in Widowmaker and maybe you didn't play that one. Or maybe you have it and never even cracked it open. It's like, yes, here's the important stuff from Widowmaker. Like if you got it, maybe go run it, But if not, here's what you need to know. Like,
well, that's the cool thing about this campaign, right? Is I think a lot of us, myself included, we were still basking in the glow of Suede dropping. That we missed that like the very next Kickstarter was bringing Lost Colony. We've had comments, people like, Lost Colony? Does that mean we're going to have it in Suede now? It's like, that was the first one.
It is Suede, yeah.
Right. If you, like me, missed Lost Colony, there's a whole box set. There's a whole bunch of adventures. It's awesome. But now's a great chance because you can get in on the shipping and the Kickstarter bonuses. And so let's have Don. Don, as long as you're around, because and then we got to let you
Speaking
know
of
a little
Kickstarter
soon.
bonuses,
Right, speaking of Kickstarter bonuses, segue awkward hashtag. Let's have Don run us through what the backer levels are and what the campaign looks like. So if we get that, we'll pull that up on screen, and then after
Alright.
Don's amazing presentation, I will play for you the sound of the Maw of Oblivion, which is cool. But yeah, folks, Jody reminds me so this one, like, we obviously didn't get the word out enough on the very first Kickstarter, so help us get the word out for Maw of Oblivion so we can keep the Lost Colony line alive and thriving.
Yeah.
And so please.
and this is a game changer, not a Kickstarter. Like we all have a horrible tendency to use those terms interchangeably, but they are very different platforms. Yeah.
That is true.
All right. So, I'll give you the basic page navigation stuff as well. If you're ever looking for the facts updates, because it's a little bit different from how you do it on, say, Kickstarter, but not too much. It's just all tabs at the top, so that way you've got everything. You don't have to do the thing where you scroll. Okay, now I can leave a comment. And then over here on the right, to make it as easy as possible, is the list of pledge tiers in order. You click those, it adds it directly to your cart. And so you'll be able to go to your cart and do everything, and it's all boom, 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 right? There's no waiting for the end of the campaign for Kickstarter to go collect the funds. It's you put your order in, and we charge you, and you're good to go. Likewise, that's the best way to go and figure out what your shipping is going to be, depending on where you are, is just make sure that you have your updated address in your peginc.com account, and then when you go to your cart with a print item, it will say, hey, this is how much you're going to be charged in shipping. We've had a few, if you get like a really crazy rate, reach out to info@peginc.com, because that usually means that something has gotten gummed up in the API that pulls the latest shipping stuff from all the major shipping services. So if you're like,
Or
in
you
Canada,
live in Australia.
yeah, well, we can only do so much, right? Everybody that's backing the Game Changer gets a special rate. So it's a combination of, us trying to, use specific services to lower the rate, as well as paying some of it ourselves. But the best way to figure out how much am I going to be charged in shipping is just adding it to your cart and going through the checkout process. And before you finalize it, it will show you how much the shipping is. And again, if you feel like that's like a lot, reach out to info@, we'll make sure to double check, and hopefully we can figure out something for you. Main page, I'm not going to go into all the information because that is Darrell's area of expertise. I'm just going to talk about what's inside.
Also, it's what the page is
It's
for.
beautifully written copy.
Yeah.
It's good copy, folks. Read the page. It's gorgeous. Darrell's quite the
Oh,
wordsmith.
God. Advertising
But
is
so
my
the-
weak suit, by the way.
The book is I feel pretty self-explanatory. It is a hardcover 96-page book, so it is a hardcover if you're getting it in print. And then we've got three extra kind of new things that are in this campaign, which you get all the new stuff if you get the print or digital Ranger tiers. The Ranger tiers get you all the new stuff. If you just want the book, Deputy tiers.
Yeah.
But the new things include the Black City maps. So it is a two-sided fold-out. It's the wet-dry erase. I forget the 30 by 24 maps.
Yep.
So
30
if
by
you've
24
gotten any
is
of
the
the
dimension. Yep.
one we've done for Deadlands or for Rifts, if you've gotten any of those, you liked them, it's the same form factor. It's really good, and it's perfect with something that we've not done for Lost Colony yet, pawns. So we've got, it is, let me read the page. I
think
forget how many
Four
pages.
sheets is what you're
Yeah, I think it was
Yes,
four
four
sheets we
sheets.
talked.
Yeah. There's a lot of numbers. It's hard to keep track. But yeah, so it's 4 sheets of pawns. They're perfect for the maps. They're the nice thick die cut. It's actually all around. We cut around the profile, and you get front and back.
Yeah.
And then the thing that I'm quite excited about. So we all the time, basically every time we do any sort of campaign or any new things, we talk about, how can we give more value to the backers, right? Because you're the early
That's gonna be
adopters, you're the
cool.
folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a special thing of like, hey, we didn't have to, you're not necessarily waiting, 6 months after it comes out and getting everybody's opinion and being a very like you're trusting us, you're giving us support, so we wanted to give something that is going to be, an extra fun thing. So those 2 cards in the middle are the bounty cards for war and Famine. So they're going to be the same size as the oversized action cards. On the front, they've got the character, and then on the back, they've got what you get for killing that Reckoner. Right? So if you go after War and you take out War, you get something, right? And we list on the back.
So we
Now,
know
we
what
don't
War's
have-
good for.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
It's no longer
and-
absolutely nothing. It's good for
Well, that-
in-game bonuses for your characters. And your
Well, and it's called
campaign.
counting coup, right? Like, because in Deadlands, you can count coup on spiritual monsters, and these are the biggest, baddest spiritual monsters. One of the things that War provides you is you just get an extra action card dealt every round. If you counted coup on War, that's just +1 card in your, that you're dealt each time. Take the
And
rest.
that would translate if you're going from the first one into Lost Colony.
Oh yeah, you still got coup, right? Yes.
That's awesome.
And you might need it.
And we're still figuring out, right, because we've not excuse me. We're trying some new things with these cards. So we're floating some new stuff. We got to see how our printer's going to react to some of the requests. But if we get what we want, these are going to be really nice. They're going to be collector cards, right? 1 second.
Oh,
He's so
Cover
impressed
top.
he's choked up over it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It just, yeah.
Yep. Totally not the allergy shot I got like 30 minutes ago. And so we've got the 2 cards here, right? Because we didn't do this for the original Kickstarter.
It's a
I was
new
around
idea
back
that-
then, so I couldn't have.
I say a
You
new
know.
idea, and Don came up with it. So we're like, oh, okay. Like,
So it's War to catch us up and Famine for this new campaign. And you'll want to keep an eye out because the only way you can get these is during the campaign. And Simon, listen, Simon, I didn't say specifically the things we're talking about, right? Let's just say if it works and I have my way, the cards are going to be pretty shiny. And then to get, I'm blanking. Who are the other 2?
oh, so
Simon threw me.
Pestilence
and
and death.
Death.
Yeah, to get Pestilence and Death, you're going to have to keep an eye out. Because the only way you're going to be able to get those is by backing those eventual campaigns. So when those plot points come up in the production cycle and we're like, okay, it's time to go kick Death's teeth in,
Right.
you're going to be able to, if you back the campaign. So the only way you can complete the set is by backing all the campaigns. Asterisk, right. They're going to be really cool, so we'll print a few extra for,
So,
cons and giveaways. But you're not
gotta
just able
kill
to buy
them all?
these.
Right. Yeah. Come talk to us. Come talk to us when we're at the Studio 2 booth at various conventions, and maybe
Yes.
we'll have a couple. Maybe.
There'll be so we're saying there's going to be a black market for holograms.
That's Don's dream, right?
Yes.
Got to get them all, right?
But I mean, that's a not
And
so
people
subtle
are-
hint, guys. One of the reasons that we brought Darrell on is to continue support for all the lines, right? Like we haven't dropped any of the lines. So we had a couple comments about Hell on Earth and about Noir.
Hell on Earth.
The
Stuff's working, guys. Yeah, it's
right.
coming.
There's a bunch of stuff in the pipeline. There's actually even cool new tech that maybe will come out. I don't know if Darrell wants to sneak that one in. I mean, is Jody gonna? Let's see, Jody. Right, they're already warning me about spoilers. But,
I'm all about the spoilers, but I actually don't know what we're talking about. So, if you're talking about like technical stuff, let's not talk about that because it's still only 50-50 whether we're actually going to do it.
Here's the problem with talking to someone like Darrell about like working on new stuff. It's like talking about an author about books they're writing. It's like, which new book are you talking about here? Right?
But my feeling is, right, like if you guys showed up to listen to me blather about stuff, I'm gonna blather about stuff. You want to hear it? Yeah, I'm working on Rippers. It's gonna be awesome.
Did that? No, okay. I almost had a heart attack. I was gonna go count and see how many things are Darrell slated to work on, and so I opened up the production schedule overview, and I was like, "Oh crap! I'm sharing my screen, but it's on the other monitor." I was so scared.
Someone was asking a couple minutes ago about the rules for counting coup, and they are in Lost Colony. In the main book,
the original.
Normally only Harrowed get to do it. but the Reckoners are so powerful that literally everyone gets a boost from them. But look under Herod for how it works for the smaller monsters, and you'll notice almost anything with that spiritual component's got a special ability called Coup, which is if a Herod is close when they go down, they get to slurp out that delicious energy, and that's what happens to them.
Yes, actually, yes.
Playing a Herald wasn't already awesome. Am I working on Rippers? Did I just say that? Yeah.
So that's the cool thing, guys. Is I mean, we really do plan on keeping all the lines alive. You know, part of the reason we do Game Changers, right, is that there's only so many slots on Kickstarter that are reasonable per year. It's about 3 or 4. But we have more stuff than that, right? Like the some of these things, like we have art from some of these projects that is 5 and 6 years old. And it's like, wait, we were working on this. Yes. There's a lot of stuff that's been in many years in the work. So to get you guys, these things published, that's why.
And some of it by authors that like I'm psyched to see their stuff. It's like, oh, here's a manuscript that was kind of like done, and we didn't have a window for it, like a place for it to go. And then I was like, okay, Darrell, go in and, pick something up. And it's like seeing that slush pile. It's like, ooh, wait, there's new toys here. Let's see what we can do with them.
Right, so there's so much good stuff. So yeah, if you didn't pick up the original Lost Colony book, you can in this campaign. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah,
there's a $10 buy-in if you just want to do the digital and just the book. And then Don will take us through all the other goodies, all the way up to 150. We get for everything.
We learned our lesson.
We actually artificially zoom out a little bit so I can fit it all in one page. So yeah, so you start off. If you just want the adventure, you can go ahead and grab $10. It is the
just the
Maw
book.
of Oblivion,
Boom.
just the book, and because you back the Game Changer, we still want to show you a little bit of love. You'll get PDF versions of the bounty cards. However, I don't think we really have a way to make those shiny.
They're not going to be as cool.
PDF's
just not the
those
same.
shiny PDFs? Gosh, guys, I'm out. I'm out.
I don't know. I don't think there's any way for us to force Landauer, because if you saw any of the marketing for Pathfinder, he did all these like cool motion graphic stuff. I don't think there's a way we can put that in a PDF, unfortunately. But so that's boom, you're in, good to go, right? Next level up, $25. That's the Print Deputy. That's the exact same thing, but in print, right? So you get the hardcover book, you get the 2 print cards, good to go. And that's all the pledge tiers are. It's print, digital or print.
Yeah.
Well,
and that comes with the PDF too, right?
Yeah, I was going to say this one's got for PDF as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really,
I guess that's a better way to say it is.
Yeah.
Digital or digital and PDF and print.
Yeah. And this was our look. So a lot of people commented like, "Man, I just want the book. Like I've got stuff. I just want the book. This is for you guys. This is just a book,
And then 1 tier up, this is the Digital Ranger. So it comes with the core book, the 2 bounty cards. It comes with the PDF version of the Black City maps and the figure flats, which are the little trifold print-yourself versions of the pawns, right? That we always do as the digital version of the pawns. And then just, again, because it fit, because you're out in the black, you also get the Billion Miles from Home adventure as well.
Right.
And then going down to Print Ranger, it's the same thing, except you also get those nice 4 pages of the thick die-cut pawns, which again look brilliant on the map.
Yeah, and this was the idea on this. Like we've had people like, "Oh man, if I have the box set, but I just want the new stuff, what do I do?" This is the one, right? This is You've got the box, you've got all the other stuff. Look, if you want more stuff than just the book, this has got it all.
So the other thing I want to comment on real quick, Don, because this was something I had talked about with Simon when the Legend of Ghost Mountain one had come up. If anybody has not used the mats that we put out before, they are really, really nice. They are thick. They are super solid and durable. I've used a million different types of maps or terrain pieces over years, and they are some of the better maps. Like I cannot emphasize this enough. Even if you're playing other sci-fi games, right? Any sci-fi maps that are here are going to be fantastic. So
Well, and what we try to do, right, is we know there are sci-fi maps on the market. So we're trying to lean into like, okay, this is stuff that's very specific to Deadlands Lost Colony, right? The Black Cities. There's something that's, this is something that you're going to find on Banshee. It's something you're going to find in this adventure. Maybe you don't necessarily have a map for that. So bam, like that's what we're going to go for. And when we talk to Tracy about some of her stuff, some of the maps that she's coming up with are great, but we'll get there.
right, and that's a big thing too, right? Like anytime you get a unique map, I used an ETU school map the other day for something just because I needed something with like interior like buildings, and I needed to be like a lab like thing. Yep. And yeah, no, they're fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to spoil it for hers. It's going to be the school cafeteria.
School cafeteria.
Because there's always trouble at the school cafeteria. That's where they're going to meet to throw down.
Some of us just want to eat.
Right.
Do we have a lunch lady pawn? No, don't answer
my
that.
God.
Do we have a lunch lady pawn yet? Is the better question.
These streams are productive, guys. I'm emailing Alita right now. Poor Alita. So because we're doing a bunch of pawns now, right? Like there's art that we have the fronts of, but we have to get the backs of. So Alita has spent like the last 6 months just looking at rear ends of art the whole time. She's like, can we do some faces, please? Can we just have some faces? So yeah, Don, let's finish up the.
This brings us to the prospector tiers are I am either new to Savage Worlds in general, or I didn't get on the boat with Lost Colony the first time, and I kind of want to catch up, right? So the digital prospector gets you the PDF version of basically everything that is Suede Lost Colony, right? Yeah. So it is Mob Oblivion, the 2 cards. It's the map, the figure flat. You get the GM screen inserts. You get the hero cards, the archetype cards, the power cards. You get the power templates, so your burst and cone and all that kind of stuff. You get the figure flats. You get, excuse me. You get the Widowmaker adventure. You get the, again, Billion Miles from Home. You get the, where's the... I forget it's Hellstrom something. What's the second?
word? Hellstrom Triumphant.
Yes, Hellstrom Triumphant.
Yeah.
And you also get,
which is the fiction that Shane wrote that links the two, that links Hell on Earth to Lost Colony.
Mm. Yep. And you also get Banshee Screams, which is the novel.
The novel.
And then you go to the print prospector, and so we didn't put the literal box on this one, but you get the box.
You get the box, yeah. You do get the box.
What's in the box,
so that has
Don? What's in the box?
I just tried to scroll down on the share and not the actual page. So you can see everything that the box is designed to fit in, right? That's the Lost Colony. You're going to get, in addition, the full actual GM screen and Widowmaker in print. You also get 25 bennies. As well, it's a set of the 7 dice, the standard polyhedral plus an extra wild die. And you also get Banshee Screams in print as well. Oh, and of course, the original Lost Colony book is a hardcover.
And the one that gets snuck in there is the Herod cards. Oops.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are those like the deluxe ones from the Deadlands starter?
Yes, they are like that.
Oh, that's nice. Also, am I the only one who collects Savage Worlds dice sets? Like, no. I have a box for game night, and it's got so many just sets in it.
So, and speaking of like collectors, and we say like this is like a hardback book. This is why, like, if I will fight to the death every time to try and make these hardbacks, because I like having all of my books the same size and the same, like they're all hardback. So this one's a hardback, and everyone I do, I'm going to push hard to be a hardback.
So yeah, John Dumas, and I think Don, there's an answer on the actual Game Changer that Don got on this one. If you got the Lost Colony box, you've already purchased it.
Yes.
You get the Ranger level, and then there's like 3 extra little items that we threw in that you might want to pick up as well. So
yeah, and the box should come with those, I think.
No,
Is
there's
the GM
there's
screen in
a
the
few
box?
PDFs. I just answered the comment. Let me find that
Okay.
comment again.
While he's looking that up,
Hellstrom Triumphant, Banshee screens, and the power templates are not part of the original box set. So you just want to add on. And one of those is the well, sorry, one of those is the novel that we talked about. One of them is the linking adventure, and then the power templates are the.
Well, it's not
screen
and it's
whatnot.
fiction. Hellstrom
Yeah.
Triumphant is fiction. So yeah, you get 2 fiction booklets, and then
I thought it was an adventure.
so Darrell, I'm sure the answer is going to be no to this, but I just want to know because like I said, I haven't played the first one. Is there anything stopping me from playing a Razor Jack for The Devil You Know?
No, you could totally do that, right? So the whole idea behind them is they're an outgrowth of the technology that Vanessa Hellstrom is, and rather the demon piloting her, is adding to the setting. Yeah, spoiler, right? But that technology is it's a plot point inside Demon You Know, so it is not completely out of the realm of possibility that those prototype and the Razor Jacks are bleeding edge prototypes anyway. You could totally use them there.
Awesome.
So yeah, talk more about the Razor Jacks because that's one of the really cool things. There's like a whole new arcane background, and there's a lot of fun spice in what the Razor Jacks are.
And Deadlands Lost Colonies got arcane backgrounds, y'all. Like the Breakers are awesome. They're your kind of main casters, and Psychers are there too. The biggest, spoilers, right? But the reason to do the Razor Jacks was there was a couple of ingredients went into making them. Is one, we've got these monsters called gravity wraiths, and I kind of wanted them to have powers. And it's unusual to add new powers to the game, but these kind of fit, right? And so there are some gravity altering powers, and also like kind of science, like energize is one of the powers. And this is something that a breaker should be able to grab too, depending on their build. Although mostly, no, they just break stuff. So maybe not, right? But with these new powers that some of the bad guys have, I would like the good guys to be able to access them too. And what would that look like? And so I came up with this idea of Vanessa's got this spirit capturing technology, and she's horrible. So she would install captured spirits into people so they could use the magic. And then the secondary bonus off of that is because they work so much like Herod, where you've got a Dominion score where the spirit is slowly but surely taking you over. It becomes a new way to use the Herod cards. A Herod can use this for Dominion. Also, a Razor Jack can too, as the spirit's taking over. And one of the cards for Herod, is the magic card, which gives you like big bonuses if you happen to draw it. And they're super good for Razor Jacks because it replenishes 10 power points and gives you a boost to your spellcasting die. Yeah.
How much are we spoiling here about them, Darrell?
It's like people showed up as much as we want.
So okay, because the one thing I like, it's very similar to Deal with the Devil in Deadlands is Unleash Hell, which is just an awesome name anyway, right? Like, how are you not going to say that every time you do the ability? I unleash hell. But it gives you 5 rounds of, I think you're able to use like any power regardless of rank that's in your list. Yeah. And so if you don't take, I think it's like Crush or Gravitate, you can gain access to those. But then you have to deal with the Dominion card.
Yeah, right. And then you dealt with the devil. So here you go.
Yeah. No, I think it's super awesome. It's definitely one I will play.
Yeah. And it's all about playing with the toys that were kind of already in the toy box, just building them in a new way.
Yeah, and speaking of that, like you have a whole thing about a couple of things. One is maneuvering around the belt, right? And the other is sort of slimming down this chase rules to be specific to space, right? Do you want to talk about that at all? Because that's like relevant to my interests.
Yeah, right. So like Suede has to cover everything, right? So the chase rules on it are very in depth, and people can get lost in them or confused because they're covering all these different situations. And it was funny because I'll talk to people and be like, "Oh yeah, it's just the chase rules," and they're like, "That doesn't seem like the chase rules." I'm like, "It is. It's just only the ones that actually apply to space." And so we kind of do that in the book. We're like, "All right, let's take a step back, kind of forget the other stuff, and here's how chases work. These are the exact rules from Suede and from Lost Colony. It just feels simpler because we don't have to talk about what happens on land or on foot or anything like that." And I've done many space chases and duels, and they work pretty good. And we want to make them even better. One of the things that we're working on is a chase deck, right? Because people love the chase deck from Savage Pathfinder.
Pathfinder, yeah.
I agree, they're great, right? But one of the best things about those decks is that the chases have a specific end point, and that's also a rule in Suede, is that you can limit the cards. So we can say, like in the belt, like, look, it's 10 cards. When you get to the 10th card, you arrive, right? You're there, so the chase is over. So we do have those limits, and that alone makes things play out very differently.
So I don't know how many chases there are, or space, like starship battles in between both books.
More
But
than one.
evasive maneuvers is freaking amazing.
Oh,
Like,
the edge.
Yeah, the edge.
Yeah, the edge.
Yeah. You have to take Ace to get it, which Ace is good in this type of
Ace
game.
is
anyway.
You need
awesome.
Ace anyway.
But it gives, like, I think another -2 penalty for somebody going after you.
Well, what it is, it's if you use the evasive maneuver option, and it's all about increasing the potency of options that already exist.
Right.
Anyone can be like, I'm going evasive. I'm -2 to be hit. All my friends are -2 to shoot back out, and it's like, oh, that's fine. Evasive maneuvers means if you use that option, you get an extra -2, but the penalty to your friends does not increase. So it becomes a better and better deal to evade.
Up to a -6.
Yeah.
Right. Do it as an action.
Yeah.
No, it's friggin' awesome.
Yeah. Right. I mean, and that's the cool thing too, is like, especially for like customized stuff. Like, I mean, we have airlocks in space, so those are just certain things that don't apply. I mean, yeah, you could do like walk the plank, but walking the plank, you could still swim a little bit. But getting airlocked, not as
out
much
the
fun.
airlock. Yeah.
And
we've got new equipment for the ships, like the breaching clamps, because it's like, I mean, in more realistic space combat, the idea of boarding is totally absurd, right? But it's awesome, so we're gonna do it.
It is,
like you've got to have it. So like, here's the piece of equipment that will make you able to do that better. If you're like, all right, our ship's okay, but we've got boosters so we can get in and get there, and we've got a badass crew, our posse, right? Like, boom, let's get in, boarding clamp, and let's make this into a face-to-face fight now.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're in good shape. And bad guys might have that too.
Right, so hard divagation, because we had like 4 or 5 comments. So we've got Tracy, and we've already let people know that the next big Kickstarter is going to be, so this is the first companion we're not going to do on a Game Changer, because we're actually going to combine it with the setting Pine Box Middle School, PBMS.
Yes.
Is abbreviation. Do you want to spoil? Do we have a mascot for the middle school yet, Tracy? Do you know? And then give folks a little.
Well, the mascot for the Pine Box Middle School, so for ETU, it was the Ravens, right?
Ravens. Go Ravens.
And at Pine Box Middle School, it's the Crows. So, and we have a school song. We have everything. It's a sidebar in the book. We have some similar stuff to ETU, where they've got kid-friendly sayings and phrases you can use that are Texas-centric, stuff like that. And yeah, so that's what we have for that. And then let's see, what else do you want to know?
Well, now there has to be a space camp mission, because that just came to mind.
Right?
Yeah, and the Reckoners show up. You're sorry, middle schoolers, you're done.
One thing I will mention, assuming this all goes to plan, and hopefully it will. For the GM screen, it's we're doing 2 adventures. One by Ed Wetterman, who's one of the original creators of ETU, and one by me. and I'm doing mine set in the Wilson Quarry. So if there was any question about that little half pager in ETU that shows the tentacle at Wilson Quarry, the tentacle monster coming out and the girl diving in, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that and explore Wilson Quarry a little more. And along with that, we're going to have a map. So you can use the Wilson Quarry map both in your Pine Box Middle School adventures and your ETU adventures, which would be pretty cool. Pretty cool.
And that's like legit part. So I mean, I think one of the cool things is like the feedback between fans and what we're producing, even something as far along as ETU, where the maps, for instance, like I mean, Tracy definitely got the thing. Like, we need more ETU maps, because just how responsive you guys have been on the Game Changers and Kickstarters on ordering those big maps that we're making, like Darrell talked about for the Black City cities that we've got in Deadlands Lost Colony. But I mean, that's really, I mean, that shows us how much you guys are actually playing these settings versus just like I collect a lot of RPGs that I know I will never get to the table. I mean, it's just good reading material. But the maps are really a very utilitarian thing, and you guys have really taken off with them. So we will have lots of delicious maps for ETU. You want to spoil or talk about any of the other ones besides the query?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's fairly safe at this point that these are going to happen. So one is the cemetery with an open grave in it. So it'll be a freshly dug grave with a cemetery thing, which is also going to be useful in ETU. And then we have very specific ones for Pine Box. One is the cafeteria, which Darrell mentioned.
I love that one.
We need
like
to get a lunch lady now. I don't think
it's a great place to do the food fight thing or the confrontation with bullies thing. And there's going to be a kitchen back there and all that. And then we have a map that's specific to the plot point campaign in Pine Box Middle School, which I don't want to spoil.
Okay, cool. That's good. Some secrets will remain secrets. So because we have this, I'm going to throw it up again. I think if you saw our pre-stream before the, I'm going to throw up the, but yeah, Donald's got to go. So Donald, appreciate you. But
I do want to remind Landar of one thing he promised the people, and we've yet to deliver.
Oh,
You gotta show the people what a black hole sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
I will. Right after we show this, I will promise.
All right, see you folks.
Later, Donald. So
Hey,
the
Don.
very first brand asset. So this is the lineup of the archetypes for Pine Box Middle School, and I'll have Tracy kind of run through these because they're super cool and we love the art. So
I do love the art. So the country kid is the the sort of straight Texas, like I grew up on a farm kind of person, and he knows how to shoot. Although in Pine Box you're not going to shoot very much, but you're in Texas, a lot of kids learn how to shoot at a pretty young age. Medium is the occult sort of expert, or at least as much of an expert you can be before you start playing this game, which because you're not going to have your own experience with rituals yet. First time you do a ritual, stuff happens. So and then the gamer is the gamer, like it's you just like, because you play games, a little bit more maybe
Genre savvy, yeah.
Exactly. Animal lover in Pine Box, animals there's an edge that's specific to being able to have a friend that's an animal, and you can be able to have that communication with them. We also have little edges like imaginary friend, which is something that's held over from your childhood, and there's an imaginary friend that maybe guides you in some places,
Does that apply to chupacabras?
Well, I maybe. I guess that's up to your principal, your GM. But Ghost Hunter is again another sort of occult type person who's really into the ghosts, and she's got her little EMF meter there. And the Delinquent is, the way I imagine her is she's very fierce protector of her friends, and her friends, she respects anybody who sort of marches to their own drummer, right? So she sort of defends the Ghost Hunter in the medium. It's kind of how I see her, but she's also very rebellious and all that in class. And on her little coat there it says "Call me Princess." The Crafter has a drone there, and so the archetype will start with a little mini drone that you can fly around and stuff. Budding Scientist is one of my favorites. She's got her little magnifying glass attachments to her glasses, and she's very sort of academic and sciencey and researchy. And then the athlete, she's got a high athletics, and she will use anything as an improvised weapon. Part of the setting is that improvised weapons, you don't take the penalty, but we've got art with her with golf clubs, we've got tennis rackets, we've got all that stuff.
Well,
and
that's
then
a great way of keeping it balanced too, right? Because I mean, like the ETU ethos is that it's not you getting access to a car and a weapon is especially the ones we're used to playing with is much different, right? And here it's middle school, so we're even lowering that down. So I love that we are the improvised weapon, because it really does make kids more fun to play. So
and because everybody's a kid, everybody's 12 years old, you all play with a young hindrance, which gives you great disadvantages, right? But at the same time, everybody's starting with 5 bennies, right, as a novice character, and that's a big deal. That changes the way you play. And I think at some point, Ed Wetterman and I, we've both run through this thing, and at least Ed and I will come on and talk about how to run Pine Box Middle School, right? A little bit about that, because it's a different beast when you've got 5 bennies for each character, and they've got D4s and D6s rather than D6s and D8s, Entrepreneur, it's just like the paper route person, the person who sort of is looking for a deal and looking to use, that a little bit greedy maybe. Scout is the Ranger Scout. Ed Wetterman came up with the Ranger Scouts, which is a non-gender specific scouting organization in the ETU universe. And then the Fine Arts Student, which I wanted to sort of go away from just the regular like what you would think, and I wanted to have her have drawing techniques, but she's got a high performance, so she can do it all. Sing, dance, she can draw, she has a camera in a lot of places. So that's that. I mean, they're just basic kids, but at the same time they're brave, and they're facing some pretty scary stuff that adults ignore or don't or deny or don't realize is out there.
I just want to say I liked the idea of somebody coming in late, seeing this and going, how am I going to survive Maw of Oblivion?
Right? These kids would not survive Maw of Oblivion.
Dear Reckoner, I painted you a picture.
Right?
I love it. So so cool thing. So because this is Tracy, I don't know if this is a spoiler we want to do yet, but because this is coming to Kickstarter, hopefully in October, we're thinking like right around Halloween.
Along with the Horror Companion.
Along with the Horror Companion.
Do you want to give any little tidbit on what we might find in the Horror Companion? Because that's totally up the alley of Maw of Oblivion, right? Like
I can answer that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So you two take it away.
But let me start with we've redone rituals, right? So for Suede, ETU, the original ETU did rituals really great. It was, I had a lot of fun doing rituals in ETU, but they were not Suede compatible, because you kind of have to there's a lot of support now and all that other stuff. Also, we wanted components to be a little bit bigger of a deal. Like you wanted components to be adventures of themselves, especially the exotic ones. And so we sort of revamped a little ritualism stuff to make that work. And then I'll let Darrell sort of take it away for the rest of it here.
Oh yeah, well, so you got rituals, you've got the new edges, and you've got new gear that's very specific to the horror genre, and new magic. The new magic. And we talk about new powers being rare, but this is one of the places for them where you get some of those more hideous versions of it. The ability to play a monster, and of course the more general. There's the toolbox for running horror games, for making it the kind of game that you want, and also here's more monsters than you can shake a stick at, literally. So
I wouldn't use this for Pine Box Middle School because I don't think it would fit, but for Maw of Oblivion, there's the one rule where you put like a blast template or a spray template for gore, and it's just it's like a Quentin Tarantino movie where just it goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, the gore rule. Kind of.
Work for a food fight.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yes. See, and ectoplasm comes alive, and I mean, like, I think I'm the only person in the world who got hungry when the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man attacked New York. I'm like, look at all that delicious, like, vanilla-y, people are dying, and I'm just thinking, like,
TMI, man, TMI. No.
S'mores. Delicious.
There's also a monster bestiary in the horror companion that's being formed at this point.
It's a lot of creatures.
Yeah.
Actually, the Pine Box Middle School companion friend would be great for Newt, because remember, Newt is also with the cat. And bonus points if you know the cat's name from that reference. Right?
I don't remember.
Right? Yeah. Someone in chat will get it. But you guys have a minute to look it up, because we have to show. So we were making the jokes about in space, no one can hear you scream, right? I was like, but who's ever screaming not in an oxygen environment, right? And then Darrell's like, wait a minute. There's actually enough.
There's enough particles in space. Yeah, void's not a void, y'all. Like, there are particles out there. They're very, very sparse. So we're talking infinitesimal volumes, but they can't hear you scream.
Right, John Doom gets it. It's Jonesy the cat.
Jonesy.
But Jonesy wasn't Newt's cat; it's Ripley's cat.
It's kind of Ripley's cat.
But like Ripley gave the cat to Newt to protect and the whole. Anyways.
No, Jonesy doesn't come with Newt. Watch the movies, man.
Man.
Yeah.
Am I having a what do you call it?
Jonesy's an alien. Newt's an aliens. Come on.
I totally thought
it's a trick question. That's why we didn't get it.
Okay, that's why. That's why. Okay, so here it is, guys. Here is literally the. Let's see,
this is the sound of a black hole, like the Maw of Oblivion.
Sound of a black hole. Yeah.
Well, fair warning. Once you hear this, you cannot unhear it. NASA is releasing audio of what a black hole sounds like, and it's a little terrifying. The eerie clip is going viral, with Twitter users calling it the sound 100 times more frightening than anything you could have imagined. NASA says in reality, human ears couldn't actually hear the frequencies. The clips were amplified to achieve the resulting sounds. The noise sounds like a ghostly wail, or as several people have pointed out, the cries of countless souls trapped in eternal darkness.
Oh, why does it no?
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Only in Lost Colony you absolutely can hear it.
Where do you guys think the Maw of Oblivion comes from, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is totally it, And yes, you can hear it, because
absolutely you
unlike
can.
A regular black hole, like this is in the room, right? Because it's phased partway into the hunting grounds. So it's literally there in the room with you, and there's controls, so you'll be able to do stuff with it. And, black holes, y'all. Singularities are the best.
Yeah.
Right. So I have Scott asks, can Ghost Rock escape a black hole?
Well, so singularities do project energy from the poles. Ghost Rock wouldn't be energy, so no matter would get out. But Ghost Rock comes in other places out of the hunting grounds. So stuff goes in, Ghost Rock comes out. You make the connection.
Right. I mean, rule of cool, man. If it helps you advance the narrative and entertainment of your players and/or their horror, because sometimes you just have to scare the bejesus out of them. The answer is yes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Ghost Rock is cool.
It is cool.
That's why so many people.
And there's a lot of it out in the belt. That's what people are mining for. That's what prospectors trade for food, water, and air. Is the Ghost Rock that they find. And there's a reason there's so much Ghost Rock out in the belt, which we get into.
Because nothing bad happens there?
Nothing bad happens in the belt. Absolutely nothing. I'll spoil my favorite, my favorite Savage Tale out in the belt is, and I've heard people pronounce this different ways, right? So I'm going to say this, and if you know, you know, and there's two different ways to say it. But in Deadlands, there's the Watley clan. I've also heard them called the Whateleys or whatever. There's a rock out there, that's got a claim on it, and it's named Watley. You can guess what's out there. You do not want to get stuck on Watley. Yeah, you get stuck on Watley.
Right? I mean, you could call them Reavers. What's up, space zombies? So good. So good. So that's the thing is, I mean, one thing I did want to mention is that, you know, obviously because we've got Darrell on this, and this is the second of the kind of the big plot point campaigns for Lost Colony. We've only done, this will be the second Reckoner, and there's 4, but that's not the end. We're not just planning on capstoning this at the Reckoners. There's also some other things brewing throughout these plot point campaigns.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah, so there's goodness, guys. So the think of this as an investment. The Lost Colony. If you haven't played it yet, I mean, it really does. One, it's very satisfying. I think kind of using the word again in the same minute, like capstone to Deadlands, right? Because you know, the Deadlands leading into Hell on Earth and Lost Colony, which are kind of they start at the exact same time point and they branch, right? And you know, also allows us to hopefully bring up Hell on Earth. Sooner versus later. No promises on when the schedule because there's lots of lines to cover.
We've got a lot to do, y'all. There's a lot of work.
Darrell said there was a 50-50 on the technology, but there is a 0% chance that the actual material isn't going to come to you guys. So we are definitely upping the game on support, whether it's one-sheets or plot point campaigns or adventures or content for you know, the various other lines that we have. It's just really hard to promote and produce all the things all the time, right? Like you know, we kind of need to go through cycles and let some things, you know.
Well, that's why you see 4 people on here instead of like 1 or 2. And we've got even more, right? With Brian Reeves, you know, leading the charge on Deadlands. You know, many, many more, right? So.
Yeah, and so we'll have more on over the course of the campaign. We've hit our hour, which is good, and we won't keep you guys longer than we promised. But I think one of the cool things I can let you guys know about is that we do have a production proof of the, speaking of Tracy, the Holler, the leather-bound collector's edition that Simon's got in.
Awesome.
That we will show off probably in a stream, hopefully next week.
Coming up.
Yeah, we need to get Simon in a stream.
Right, we'll get Simon on, Mr. Reluctant Simon. And,
I've also seen the conviction tokens, which are awesome too for Holler. They're
I haven't
really
seen
cool.
these yet.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Okay, well, if we have them to show, so we'll show some conviction tokens and then the leatherette. The gold stamp on it is not our logo. It's not our amazing final logo, but it's good enough for you guys to see kind of what it's going to look like. And so there's Holler, there's good stuff for Holler too. So guys and gals and everybody in between, thank you for showing up for our stream. You were amazing.
Yeah, and also thank you if you've already backed and pledged. We're doing great. Like if anyone's worried about that, don't. Like for a supplement, we're like in awesome shape. So thank you so much.
And also with the Game Changer, when we think the PDF will be available very shortly after it closes. Is that right?
There's always a mechanism in terms of being able to deliver it, but damn file's ready. Like we're ready to go.
Yeah, right.
Like when we close and we get the word, the thumbs up, and they say we can send it out, we will send it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's the cool thing. Speaking of Mike, before we go, so just today, so the a second version of the Advanced Player's Guide is available to download. So if you have not downloaded the APG this week, the new one, version 1.3.
And that's a great book too.
One of them is in your downloads, and then tonight, Jody and Christine are hard at work prepping the pledge manager, the order manager. So whether tonight or tomorrow, sometime, you guys will be getting the backers and the pre-orders for Curse of the Crimson Throne. We'll have some new files to be playing with. So that's in the work too. So yes, here we go. Here we go, Jody. I'm hearing that people are combining their Curse of the Crimson Throne and Yes. So that's the thing. So one comment that Jody had before. So we get this comment a lot. And so for all of our overseas folks, shipping overseas is just incredibly expensive. And a lot of that has to do with the crisis, but also tariffs and taxes and the different country policies and trying to find a solution that works for a company of our size to handle all that. And so sometimes it's a little expensive, but if something's outrageously expensive, like as Don said earlier, contact us and we'll double check prices because as much as we love and hate FedEx, the API does throw out some crazy numbers every once in a while, and we can actually do a back-end ping. But we also offer campaign special pricing for our overseas friends. So it is a really good idea if you are planning on getting something, go in on one of these crowdfunder campaigns, and that helps us get to you guys your stuff faster and cheaper, less expensive, never cheap, budgeted, and things. So do take advantage of those crowdfunders, and then as Jody said, you can combine them if you want to combine two campaigns that are close in timelines. To save on shipping, you can definitely do that. That's one of the nice things about doing it on our own site. And so if you are a Crimson Throne backer and you haven't redeemed your coupon yet, there is a whole Kickstarter post on it, so go check out post number 13 on the Kickstarter on how you can redeem your coupon. And then as early as this evening or tomorrow, you guys should be able to start combining your, if you want to get Lost Colony with your Crimson Throne, have a little fantasy in your space, or at least have them ship in the same box cheaply to you. Get that done. And then I think Mike's got one little announcement right before we go.
It's not necessarily an announcement. I did post briefly on Facebook, but I just want to thank everybody who has provided feedback, whether it's punctuation edits or noticing like something minor on rules. No matter how much we play test something, there is always going to be like one combination here and a combination here that we didn't put together, or something that felt really good at the time that, we just don't see. And so even if you don't see like, a comment that you make do an immediate change, we look at it, right? We compare it to things. I know there are a couple changes that were submitted and I'm still going over them, right? Like, it's not like I just went, whatever, who cares, bam. Thank you, John. We put a lot of thought into it, and we want to make the best game possible. And so this that you do for us with the feedback is just fantastic. Thank you so much to everybody.
It is. It hurts to get it. However, it makes a better game, and that
does.
is what makes it all worthwhile.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and we super value that feedback process. I mean, I know that's kind of one. It extends our printing by a few weeks, but it's so worth it to just get a book that the community really has buy-in into. And so, if you guys want to get in on Deadlands Lost Colony, it's a whole lot of fun. Horror in space. It is fully funded. We are at 77,350. Yeah, that jumped up. This stream is good, guys. Our goal was 5K, and we are at 7350 right now, which is great. Link in the chat, or if you go to peginc.com, it's in the middle of the bar at the top. Deadlands Lost Colony. We hope a bunch of you guys rectified missing the Kickstarter the first time around, so you can get in on getting all the goodies there. And then, me too. I mean, like, really, wait, what happened? What was I doing?
I'm super excited.
Right?
I'm seriously. Yeah.
So yeah, take advantage of the shipping rates because Jody spends a lot of hard work making those wonderful shipping tables, and then yes, thank you to Christine and Jody who are working hard right now to get you guys your Crimson Throne AP and Guide to Corvosa PDFs sometime within the next 48 hours. So look for those too. But other than that, we will be back on Thursday on this same time, this same channel, Twitch TV/Peg Inc. for the summer showcase, and I think it'll be the last summer showcase show because we're going to be in fall by next week. Jeez, summer came and went really fast. But we are promoting our Swag Timber folks, all the great Savage Worlds Adventure Guild swag creators, and they've gotten together and put out an amazing bundle, which is a really deep discount on already really inexpensive fantastic Savage Worlds products. So last week we did a couple authors. This week we'll do a couple more authors, and if we have more authors to share next week, we'll make it all about Swag Timber on our showcase. So
what time is that Eastern?
That is 8 p.m. Eastern.
So that's so sad, because I have a stream I'm going to be on for it, but I'm also at 8 p.m. Eastern.
We have choices. Okay, tell us about your stream, sir.
So Knights of the Smith Dinner Table are running Weeby Goblins. There is a nice little cast of us that are going to go on, and we're going to be crazy goblins on an epic quest of epicness. We're probably going to be horrible people, but
you're goblins, so no
you're going to be good goblins.
We're going to be good goblins.
That's synonymous with horrible people. Yeah.
I think my name's like Chunksky Lickwound or something like that. I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous. But if you haven't played Savage Pathfinder, you're interested in taking a look. They've got it on the custodians of the Red Dragon, the Savage Pathfinder Facebook group. But yeah, if you want to hear me ramble or contribute to any dialogue or anything, I'll be there.
That's fantastic. So yes, catch. I think they might start at 7, so you can start there, and then you can always catch our replays on our YouTube channel, or Twitch on demand for several weeks afterwards. So yes, there are options where you can see all of the streaming, even if they're going on at the same time. So lots of fun savageness happening this week on the streams. And other than that, guys, thank you for showing up so good for
Thank you,
us
everyone.
on Lost Colony
Thank you.
on the first day. We appreciate it more than you know. And yeah, things are going great, and we'll be back on Thursday. So cheers, folks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.